Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here I am Nurul Aida. I want to talk and explain about phonology rule, assimilation and insertion. So stay tuned with my video. Phonological rules are part of speaker knowledge for the language. The phonemic representation are minimally specified because some future or future value are predictable. For example, in English, all nasal consonants are voiced, so we don't need to specify voicing in the phonemic future metric for nasal. Similarly, we don't need to specify the future round for non-loud back vowel. More explanation, what are phonological rules? Phonological rules, as we know, as part of communication through the language, whether spoken or written, and knowing what they are and why they can exist can help us better understand in our world. Understanding phonological role is important aspect for teaching English and working people who have speech problem because phonological role is way how we can do speech, and this is so important for our English, for all language that we have. Phonological role describe how phonemics are realized as their album in a given environment. Environment in phonology typically refer to neck-boring phonemes. We have a statement about what is phonological rules, and I want to read it. A statement of John Golden Smith defined phonology rule as mapping between two different levels of sound representation, in this case, an abstract or underlying level and the surface level. And in another opinion about phonological rules by Bruce Hayes, 2009, described them as generalization about the different ways a sound can be produced in different environments. So, this phonological rule describes how the speaker goes from the abstract expectation stored in their brain to the actual sound they articulate when they speak. In general, phonology rules start with the underlying representation of a sound, the phoneme that is stored in the speaker mind, and yet the final surveyed form are what the speaker actually pronounced. For example, in English, plural S may be pronunciation as S, like cats, or Z in caps, or is in basis, like this. The idea behind phonological rule. Quantitative phonologists who have worked extensively with phonological rules work on the basic assumption that every speaker has a mental lexicon full of the abstract and theory of phonological form in his or her head. These abstract and theory are underlying representation and serve as input for the phonological rules. The underlying form then undergo the derivational process, which is driven by the phonological rules. The output of the process phonological representation are the pronunciation. So the last product of phonological rule is how we can to put our idea in our brain about some language or some words in our speak or our pronunciation. Assimilation rules vowel nasalization in English, a rule that makes neck-bored segment or more similar by copying or spreading a phonetic property for one segment to the other. Assimilation is when sound become more like a neck-boring sound with respect to some phonetic property. Phonological rules, I want to have a statement of Human 2092 state that assimilation refers to all adaptive modification of a statement in a chain of segment by a neighboring segment. According to Driven 2004, assimilation is a process whereby one sound causes an ejected sound to be more similar to itself. So the sound is like the neighboring sound. Assimilation, how is the word or the language is similar with the neighboring sound. So it's similar with the front or the next sound that he continue or he's continue to read. It like the example is in N and M in bilabial. The example is like we pronounce some language um, in N and M, like example 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We usually say 10 minutes, but we usually say 10 minutes. And is similar in per word in M. So we can say that 10 minutes. Like this, the assimilation example. And we must know the point of view distinguish assimilation in many subtype, in three subtype that the fun at the one is phonetic free variation or contextual assimilation. The two is phonemic assimilation is often referred as neutralization or synthesis. This is more cinematic, and the three is morphological or morphophonemic assimilation is one which aspect a whole morpheme. It usually designs the morpheme variants album according to morphophonemic rule. For example, we know as after voicing consonant stop, roots, pilps, and Z or Z after voicing gus, boys, toms, his, and is after consonant ridges, chams, Georges, like this. Okay, I want to explain the example, another example. There is another example of phonological rules or assimilation that following in some cases, like in S of plural becomes Z, like pegs and pencils, and another is in T become T by voiceless consonant like kick and kick, and another is N become M like my previous example, because in a labial consonant, for example 10 minutes, we say in 10 minutes. This assimilation, when a sound change one of its feathers to become less similar to an ejected sound, usually to make the two sounds more distinguishable. The type of rule is often seen among people speaking a language that is not their native language, when the sound contrast may be difficult, so the rule is applied for a case of production and perception. In the other word, phonological process that change filter value of segment to make them similar. To share about assimilation, I want to read some statement of assimilation from Nathan 2018 that say asserts that not only can be segment can be deleted, sometimes they can be inserted instead. It say like insertion. There seem to be two basic reasons for insertion. One is perfecting cluster of consonant that violate syllable structure contains in the language. The two is easing translation between segments that have multiple incompatible. Well, deal with each kind in turns. Again, there are Greek-based terms of insertion at the beginning, middle, and the end. Insertion at the beginning is observed in spines where the language doesn't permit one cluster. And particular strength but well-known kind of insertion a famous insertive or linking R of British and some dialect of American English. In this dialect, a historical R has been directed in work final coda position, but when the word is followed by vowel initial word either complex and not completely, under such circumstance, the R repair, or example in instructive R, is idea and idearis. And another example we have seen so far involve insertion for vowel to break up sequence. And another example is typically in linking R. The example is here. We read in reends like this. We must know about this assimilation that I previously said about this assimilation, because this assimilation is a rule when two clauses are ejected sound become less alike with respect to sound property. What I explained before, I want to explain about the function of phonological rule in grammar is to provide the phonetic information necessary for the pronunciation of utterance. We may illustrate it in an output. In input, maybe first phonemic metallization, representation of word in a sentence. So we have phonological rules. When the next step is output, the phonological representation of word in a sentence. So that is illustrated of the function. If I have a mistake, I'm sorry, but this is about explanation of phonological rule, assimilation, and insertion. Maybe that's all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.